Santa Ana winds were no friends of photography, but that was something you could not tell an egomaniacal architect who believed his entire reputation rested upon capturing, for posterity and for Architectural Digest, 52,000 square feet of unfinished hillside sprawl today. You couldn't even try to tell him that, because when you finally found the location after making what felt like 24 wrong turns, you were already late, he was already ticked off, and the arid wind was already throwing up so much dust that all you wanted to do was get out of there as fast as possible, which wasn't going to be possible if you argued with him over whether you were going to take the pictures in the first place. So you took them. Never mind the dust, never mind the tumbleweeds that seemed to have been imported by a special effects team to make several $1 million worth of California ocean view real estate look like Barstow in August. And never mind the fact that the grit got under your contact lenses and the air made your skin feel like peach pits and your hair like burnt hay. The job was everything. The job was all. And since China River supported herself by doing the job, she did it. But she wasn't happy. When she completed the work, a patina of grime lay on her clothes and against her skin, and the only thing she wanted, other than a tall glass of the coldest water she could find and a long soak in a very cool tub, was to be out of there, off the hillside and closer to the beach. So she said, "That's it then. I'll have proofs for you to choose from the day after tomorrow. 1 o'clock, your office? Good. I'll be there." And she strode off without giving the man a chance to reply. She didn't much care about his reaction to her abrupt departure either. She drove back down the hillside in her ancient Plymouth, along a smoothly paved road, potholes being permanently banned in Montecito. The route took her past houses of the Santa Barbara super-rich, who lived their shielded, privileged lives behind electronic gates, where they swam in designer swimming pools and toweled themselves off afterwards on terry cloth as thick and white as a Colorado snowbank. She braked occasionally for Mexican gardeners who sweated behind those protective walls, and for teenage girls on horseback who bounced along in tight-fitting blue jeans and skimpy T-shirts. The hair on these girls swung in the sunlight. On every last one of them it was long and straight and shiny, like something lit it from within. Their skin was flawless, and their teeth were perfect too, and not a single one of them carried an ounce of unwanted flesh anywhere. But then why would they? Weight wouldn't have had the moral fortitude to linger upon them any longer than the time it took them to stand on the bathroom scale, get hysterical, and fling themselves at the toilet afterwards. They were so pathetic, China thought. The whole coddled, undernourished crowd of them. And what was worse for the little twits, their mothers probably looked exactly like them, doing their part to be role models for a lifetime of personal trainers, plastic surgery, shopping excursions, daily massages, weekly manicures, and regular sessions with a shrink. There was nothing like having a gold-plated meal ticket, courtesy of some idiot whose only requirement of his women was zeroed in on the looks department. Whenever China had to come to Montecito, she couldn't wait to get out of Montecito, and today was no different. If anything, today the wind and the heat made the urgency to put this place behind her worse than normal, like something gnawing at her mood, which was bad enough already. An overall uneasiness had been sitting on her shoulders since the moment her alarm had rung early that morning. Nothing else had rung. That was the problem. Upon waking, she'd made that automatic 3-hour leap in time to 10 a.m. in Manhattan, so why hasn't he called? And while the hours passed till the one at which she had to leave for her appointment in Montecito, she had mostly watched the phone and stewed, something that was easy enough to do since it was nearly 80 degrees by 9 a.m. She'd tried to occupy herself. She'd watered the entire front yard by hand, and she'd done the same to the back, right down to the grass. She talked over the fence to Anita Garcia. "Hey, girl, is this weather killing you? Man, oh man, it's destroying me," and sympathized with her neighbor's degree of water retention in this last month of her pregnancy. She'd washed the Plymouth and dried it as she went, managing to stay one step ahead of the dust that wanted to adhere to it and turn into mud. And she leaped inside the house twice when the phone rang, only to find those unctuous, obnoxious telephone solicitors on the line, the kind who always wanted to know what kind of day you were having before they launched into their spiels about changing your long-distance telephone company, which would, of course, also change your life. Finally, she'd had to leave for Montecito. But not before she picked up the phone one last time to make sure she had a dial tone, and not before she double-checked her answering machine to make sure it would take a message. All the time she hated herself for not being able just to dismiss him. But that had been the problem for years. 13 of them. God, how she hated love.